Okay, welcome to Team Call. Happy Thursday, everybody. Good to see your faces. Okay, so I want to talk about two things for sure tonight, and then the third thing will be kind of like depending on if we have enough time. But the first thing, technically four things. Actually, let me write that down so I don't forget it. Okay, first of all, let's talk about Reels really fast. So, I started using Instagram Reels, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, but I have seen a drastic pickup in my engagement. And I think that and like following. Like I haven't had this much traction in my following in probably a year. So I think that there are two reasons behind that. One, I think that I have really what they call it niche down. They actually Abby Kappa does a podcast on this in the she's here for it? Is that the podcast we all you she has one. It's called Niche Down is the name of the podcast and episode, and she talks about like really honing in on your niche and just finding like who like what your people want to hear and who your people are, because I think that we get really focused on pleasing everybody and like making sure that people don't unfollow us or like that we don't upset anybody, and really like what we need to do is just like choose our target audience, because it's not going to be everybody. Like no matter how joyful and loving and kind and sweet and amazing you are not going to please everybody. So goal is simply to be sharing what we feel we're called to share, and um, really honing in on our market. And I feel like I have finally started to do that, and Reels has helped me. And I'm not kidding. My engagement has, I think, doubled, and my following has picked up like more traction than it has in a long time. So I say all that to say, niche down, number one, and number two, try Reels. And so I know that it's kind of like, what do I do? Where do I start? I would start with, so like one of the big things that TikTok was sharing, what that people were sharing when TikTok came out. The two biggest tips for TikTok, and I think we need to treat Reels like TikTok was being treated. So the big things for TikTok were one, be consistent. So 1 to 3 times a day, be posting a reel. And two is do like a 70-30 or like an 80-20 approach of your niche versus what's popular. So you want to be doing like what we just talked about, niche down, like find your niche market, like what are you talking about? What is your like avatar? And then the other part, you should be using like popular songs and whatever you want to do. Like I'm not much of like a like I like goofy dance, but I'm not much of like a organized dancer, but like using those songs in with it, and that's going to help you get farther on the explore page. So like I used that like really silly chicken wing song in my Reels video the other day, but like that's super popular right now. So even though it's like ridiculous to me, I used it, and then I just talked about the topic I wanted to talk about with that in the background, and like did like a really lame dance to it. It's really lame. But my point is like use what's like going viral right now and just make it your own. So that is like my top tips for Reels, is to be consistent and use what's popular but make it your own, and mainly stick to your like um niche, whatever that is. Get creative, you guys. Like I guarantee you have something. I was talking with like Rach and Noelle the other day, and like we all have something that we can niche down with. We just have to get creative with it. So like um I'll tell you, like, I'm going to list off several like niches I have found over the last couple of years, and I kind of phase in and out of them because it phases in and out with my life. So obviously we know grief is one of them. But another one is when I was sleep training my son, that was a really big niche. Like that was a topic that not everybody's going to agree with me on, but I shared our experience and our like real life, what we were walking through. So that was one. When my son had acid reflux, that was a really big one for me. Like I just shared a lot about that journey and like finding the right foods, finding the right bottles, finding the right everything. So that was a really big one. Anytime we're doing any kind of renovation in our house. So I did it when we moved into our house, and now I'm starting to do it again with our bathroom. So like honestly, you guys, like there are so many of you who are moving, who are finding new things, like use that. Don't tell me you don't have something in your life that you can niche down with, because I guarantee you do. I look at every single one of you and I can find something that you can be utilizing. So you have something to add to this world. Don't be afraid to add to it. But don't be afraid to really like kind of hone in on that. That is what I'm going to say about reels for tonight. I didn't want to take up a huge amount of time, but I did want to really express that I have found success with that. And I know that you guys have been wanting to look with how you can connect further. And so that is what I've had success with in the last couple of weeks specifically. And so I strongly recommend giving it a try. Okay, so I want to talk about goals because it's the beginning of the month, and we do this in January usually, where we have like a really big like goal setting party. But I wanted to kind of like talk about it and more talk about setting goals in general, like each month, each week. It's really important to be goal oriented, and I want to be really clear about a few things. One thing is that goals, you guys, we're not always going to meet them, and that is okay. Like this is not like meant to be like some level or measure of success or worth. The reason why goals are so important, even if we don't hit them for the time that we set them for, is because we have a gauge of something to strive for. And so when we are actively striving towards that goal, even if we don't reach it, we've made progress and move forward. So, a couple of things. Your goals should be SMART. This is an acronym. Write it down. They should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time sensitive. I'm going to say that again. Your goals should be SMART, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time sensitive. So the reason for this is I feel like a lot of times goals end up becoming like, okay, I'm going to look at like my goals for this month. So one of them was 2 date nights. So it would be really easy to say more time with my husband, or more date nights, or more intentional with our marriage. But all of those things aren't measurable. It's kind of like, so like, is one enough? Is, one Friday night at home enough? Like, what is like the actual goal? So I said 2 date nights because that's something we can feasibly like check off in the sense of, okay, like we need to go on one more date this month. Like we need to, get a sitter and make a plan and spend more time together this month. So make sure it is measurable and all of the things I just said: specific, attainable, relevant, time sensitive. You want to make sure that it's something that you can reach. Okay. So you're not going to set some goal that is like, go to Hawaii on a 1-week vacation with my husband this month. Well, that's not attainable. Like we ain't going to Hawaii. First of all, no one's going to Hawaii right now. So you need it to be something that you can attain. So it's really fun to set like these big shoot for the moon goals. And I love those goals because it means that we're working hard. But the problem is when they're so far from being attainable that we just know we're not going to get there in the time that we're setting, we don't even work for it because we're like, it's not going to happen. So it's not that it's not, like I want to sit here and be like, anything is possible, like dream, believe, do. Yes, all of those things. You guys are possible of so many things. And oftentimes we're possible. I don't think I'm using the right word. A lot of times we are capable. That was the word I was looking for. We are capable of so much more than we actually think we are. And so that's why, like, if you've ever read the book 10X Rule or heard of the book 10X Rule, Grant Cardone talks a lot about basically 10xing your goals because we kind of sell ourselves short sometimes. But we still do want to make sure it's attainable so that we work towards it. Because if we set a goal that we're like, there's no way that's happening, we're not even going to bother trying. So that's a good acronym to keep by you as you're setting your goals each month. I want you guys to be setting goals. I think it's important for us to be setting goals for more than just our business. So some areas that you can be setting goals in are your job. If you have a job outside of Beachbody, like set goals in that. So your job, your finances, maybe you have a goal to save a specific amount of money. Get really specific with it and figure out how you're going to make that happen. Maybe your goal is simply to set up a budget for the first time. Whatever it is. Your home, do you like have a project you want to get done? Sometimes I literally just set a goal to like organize one drawer or organize one cabinet this month because I know like that might be all that's attainable for me on top of other things. But it is so important to be setting goals inside of those things. And then your relationships, whether that be your roommate, your parents, your spouse, your friends, your kids, setting specific goals like that date night goal I told you guys about. Your body, whether that is, you know, if you have a specific weight loss goal, like that's great. If you are like, really want to drink this many ounces of water 5 days a week. Like that's a great attainable goal in the sense of you're not saying you're going to be perfect at it every day, but you're going to shoot for it for 5 days out of the week. Like that's attainable. And then free time and community, whether that be volunteering, helping out at your church, or literally some fun things. Like sometimes I have to set like fun goals for myself because I can get so focused. I'm a 2 wing 3 on the Enneagram and I am a strong 3. I got a little confused about my Enneagram there a couple months back and I realized it's because I am a strong wing 3. So like I am very much like focused on achieving goals and all of those things. And sometimes I have to set goals of like, go like have fun, like delete Instagram for a day and go to the mall or something, like go do something outside of these other attainable things. So those are some areas we can be setting goals in. So I think that it's really important to be setting our goals each month. I think it's important to set goals each year and have like, this is what I want to do by the end of the year. And those are obviously going to be bigger goals. So then our monthly goals need to be working us towards getting to our annual goal, whatever that is. And so there's actually a way to, I've done like a bigger call on this, but there's actually a way to reverse engineer your goals. And it's really not that hard. I bought this planner last year and I got it again this year because it is fabulous. And it has a whole section. It's the Rise Up Planner by Mara Kusaba. She's a Beachbody coach. And it has a whole section on goal planning. And it literally walks you through it and setting up like an annual goal, how you're going to achieve it by cutting it into sections. So basically, you pick 3 non-negotiable goals for the year. 2 of those should be business related. So one of those needs to be something else, whether that is like a family goal, a financial goal, a whatever. 2 of them should be business related though. And then you want to start with the 1-year mark. So you're going to say, and you guys don't need to do this tonight if you've already set out yearly goals for 2020. I just want us to be focused on honing in. Like it is September, you guys. Like 2020, praise the Lord, is coming to an end. So we need to be remembering those goals that we set in January. And so I want us to dial that in. I don't need you to set goals for a year from today if that's not something you're interested in doing, if you want to focus on the rest of 2020, but I need you to be like, okay, what do I need to do in the next 3 months and dial in to achieve the goal that I set for 2020. So basically how you reverse engineer your goals is you start with okay, in 1 year or at the end of 2020, I said I would be here. So let's cut that in half. Where do you need to be? Or not in half, I'm sorry. Let's cut that into quarters. So where do you need to be 9 months from now, 6 months from now, 3 months from now? Does that make sense? So you are saying in 1 year, I want to be here. So then in 9 months, I should be here. In 6 months, I should be here. And in 3 months, I should be here. And that gives you quarterly goals to be working towards. And then each quarter, you're going to set monthly goals to get you towards those quarterly goals. And that helps make things not so overwhelming. So if your 2020 goal, because I know a lot of you sitting on here, this was your goal. If your 2020 goal was to be diamond, and then you need to look at your account and see how many coaches you need and maybe add on a few more because life happens and coaches quit and accounts get canceled and people go inactive. So look at how many coaches you need, tack on 2 more to each leg for safety purposes, and then say, how long do I have to hit that goal? If your goal is to hit that goal by Thanksgiving, you have 10 weeks. So we need to look at how many coaches do I need to sign up in 10 weeks? How many coaches do I need to help advance to Emerald in 10 weeks? If your goal is to go Emerald, first of all, you should never have a goal to go Emerald in 10 weeks because y'all can do it in way less time than 10 weeks. But whatever your goal is for 2020, I want you guys to be looking at that today in September, the beginning of September, and saying, what do I need to do to get to my year-end goal? And that is going, and again, if we don't hit our goals, like the world, I promise you, will not crumble beneath us. Like it is well and stable without our goals being hit. But it just helps us to have something to work towards, something attainable to work towards, and helps us to keep focused. So if you need to sign up 4 coaches in the next 10 weeks, and you need to help 2 coaches go Emerald in the next 10 weeks, then you need to focus on signing up, say 1 coach a week or 1 coach every 2 weeks, and helping 1 coach rank advance a month. Like those are some good goals to be attainably setting throughout the year. Okay. So now that we have gone over the goal setting, if you haven't already, please take some time tonight and set some goals for this month, whatever that looks like for you. I know it's really easy to sometimes look at, because we do goal setting posts in both Live Free and we did one this month in Team Title Joy. And I know it can be really easy to look at other people's goals and feel like we need to compare ourselves to somebody else's goals. I just want to put out a reminder to everybody that we are all in different seasons of life. So just because you feel like you're supposed to have the same goals as somebody else, it's okay if you don't. We want to make sure that our goals are specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time sensitive to our lives and not anybody else's. So, my biggest thing that I like to remind coaches of is you need to make sure that your actions are measuring up to your goals. And if it's that you need to lower your goal because you are not at a place where your actions can match up to your goal, that's okay. But if our actions are not lining up with the goals we have set for ourselves, if your goal is to sign up 1 new coach a week, but you're sending out 1 coach invite a week, that is not going to get you to your goal. And so we need to make sure that our actions are lining up with what our goals are. And if not, then we need to reevaluate and say, is this really a goal that I'm actually looking to achieve? Because it just gets frustrating when we miss goals over and over again. And so sometimes we need to take a step back and say, is this something I really want? And if I really want it, why am I not working for it? Like, if I really want this to happen, what is holding me back from working towards it? And if I don't really want it to happen, that's okay. Let me reevaluate here. So I just want to make sure that your actions or your goal actions are lining up with your goals. So make sure you are going through like, okay, I want to hit Success Club. If you're like, I want to hit Success Club 6 this month. Okay, so then how many invites do you need to send out this month? You need to send out at least 60 invites, because statistically speaking, every 1 in 10 people is going to sign up. No, that is not, it's a statistic. It's not like a 100% all the time, but statistically speaking, every 1 in 10 will sign up. So the average is to say, multiply your goal by 10. If you want to hit Success Club 6, you're sending out 60 invites. Okay, if you're sending out 60 invites, how many is that going to be a week? Is that going to be 12 a week? Okay, then how many are you going to send out a day? Are you going to send out 2 a day? Are you only going to work 4 days a week? Are you going to send out, you know what I mean? So you guys need to figure out that for your own life and set your own goals in that way. And I think that this is going to be really helpful for a lot of you to not feel so frustrated at the end of the month if your goal isn't hit, because then you can at least look back and say, did I do the things I needed to do to move my business forward to get to that goal? And if you did and you still didn't hit it, that's okay, you guys. But we need to be measuring if we're putting in the effort required to hit those goals in order to see if we're doing what we need to do, basically. So, I want to talk about with that before I move forward. Does anybody have any questions about goals? Oh, Lindsay, I love that. I didn't know that. Well, you really should have led tonight. Courtney, I use Instagram more, but I know people who are very successful on Facebook. So if you feel like you're being more successful on Facebook, then go for it for sure.
Yeah, I just have like a lot of friends more on Facebook that would probably be a little bit more interested than my Instagram market right now. For some reason, I'm not sure why. I just have like a lot of like, I work at a dance studio, so a lot of the dance moms I'm friends with on Facebook more.
So two options, because they're the same, like Facebook owns Instagram now. So they've made it really easy that you can like post the same stuff to Facebook that you do to Instagram. So if you wanted to do both, it wouldn't be like you'd actually have to do both, because you could just share everything you're sharing to Instagram to Facebook. But they are different platforms in the sense that you typically share different things to both. So if you're feeling like you want to focus your energy on Facebook, focus your energy on Facebook.
Okay.
When I first started, it was recommended to me to focus mainly on one social media platform, to not get like, you'll just get overwhelmed if you try to do everything. So start with Facebook, and if you feel like you're gaining a lot of traction there, stick there for a while and just hang out there. But if you feel like you want to, go over to Instagram later or try and do both, then that's fine too. But I would start with one just so you don't get overwhelmed.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so my next thing was that I wanted to talk about tracking along with goals, so that we can be getting to the end of the month and saying, how did I do? So first of all, does everybody have some form of a tracker? Raise your hand if you do. Okay, so if you do not, or if you do not have a tracker, then there is the SC BAT. It's literally called, it's the Success Club Business Activity Tracker, SC BAT. That's it right there. Noelle's got it. It's in our file section in Team Title Joy. It's also in Live Free. It's also sent out in the new coach email that I send out. It's also in your back office of your coach online office. So there are multiple places you can find it. I would say that is going to be your best place to start, and just go down that tracker. And I would say, if you're like, I have no idea how to do that, get into Beachbody Champions Facebook page, almost every day they have a live power hour where someone walks you through the business activity tracker. And if it's not live, there are tons of like pre-recorded ones saved there. There's actually an awesome one that I just tagged a bunch of you in. Unfortunately, I can't share it to Team Title Joy, but if you want me to tag you in that specific one and I haven't yet, then make sure you're in that group, shoot me a text and I will tag you in it. It's a really good one. They just did it, I think, last week or maybe even this week. But she'll walk you through how to use the business activity tracker. That is like the best way for you to learn, is to walk through it with somebody else. Set aside 45 minutes to an hour of your time and do a live power hour with someone. Basically what they're going to say is, okay, for the next 10 minutes, we're going to turn off all of your notifications, and now you're going to go ahead and send out invites for 10 minutes without any distraction. Set a timer and go. And they walk you through how they do all of those things. They're very, very, very helpful. So I would definitely recommend doing that if you haven't done that already. But that is going to help you to be productive and to actually work. I think a lot of times we get caught up in saying we're working and we're not, we're scrolling or whatever. So this will help you to actually work. So that tracker is going to be really helpful for you to look back on each week and month and say, how many invites did I send out? How many times did I share to my social media? How many new followers did I add? Did I check in with my challenge group each day? All of those things. And it's going to help you be able to measurably look back and say, I did not hit my goals this month. Why didn't I hit my goals? And if you have honestly is the key word here. Don't check off a box just to check off a box if you didn't actually do it. If you have honestly filled out that tracker, you can look back at it and say, well, dang, I actually only invited once a week last month, and that's why I didn't hit my goals. And so, it's going to help you measurably track it. And whenever you hit a wall where you're like, man, for the last 2 to 3 weeks, I have filled out my tracker religiously every day. I have done my work religiously every day, and I'm still hitting a wall and not seeing results. That's when you message me and you say, Callie, I need a one-on-one with you. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And then you're going to take a picture of your tracker and you're going to send it to me, because that's the first thing I'm going to ask you for. Send me a picture of your tracker, because I want to see what you're doing so that I can help walk you through what might be going wrong in your business. I don't want anybody to feel stuck in this business. And what I have found in the last 2.5 years is that most often people are stuck because they're not working. I'm going to repeat that. Most often in this business, people are stuck because they're not working. But if that's not the case and you're like, dude, I am doing all of the things and it's not working, send me a text, send me your tracker. We will get on a one-on-one call and we will talk through we will talk through all of it. I'm going to help you figure it out. I don't want you to be stuck in this business. So if you're sitting here and you're feeling that in any way and you are doing the things, you're doing your crap every day, I want to help you figure out what's going wrong. So that is why we need to be setting the goals each month, tracking each week, and then looking back on the month prior and saying, what went wrong here, or what went really well. We also want to be talking about positives, you guys. What went really well this month? And then mirror that the following month. I have found that the SC BAT is the best tracker. I think it's like very simple, to the point, tells you exactly what you need to do. And what I love is that, so I use this tracker. Like I said, Rise Up by Mara Kusaba. And I love it. It's basically, you guys, the business activity tracker, but just laid out into a calendar each week, which is what I love. It's like a planner with the business activity tracker attached to it, basically. And then I also print out the like blank sheets where you can just write names down, and I use that as well. Like this. So, okay. that is basically what I wanted to talk about tonight. Um, yeah, okay, so that's what I was going to talk about for the last thing. I think it's starting Monday. I'm going to talk to Julie about that and see if she still wants to on Labor Day, but she probably will want to. So it's starting, I think, on Monday. It is going to be a 14-day group that Live Free is putting on. It is basically going to be an accountability group for your business. So I want everybody to hone in and listen for the next 5 minutes. If you want to make your business move forward, period, you are going to go to that group and add yourself, and you are going to print out a tracker, or you can use the app. That's fine, Mo. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter if your tracker looks different. Like if you have a tracker that works for you, that's fine. We don't care what your tracker looks like. The point is that you are tracking your work, and then you're going to share that to the group each day. So that's the accountability piece, is that each day you're going to take a picture of your tracker and share it to the group. So it's just like the accountability groups that we have for our fitness, where we're like, oh crap, I didn't work out today. I should probably go work out so that I can post to the group. You're going to be like, oh crap, I didn't work today. I should probably do that so that I can post to the group. I will say this is a little bit more of a tough love group. So listen to me. If you miss one day, you get a grace period. If you miss 2 days, you're out of the group. You need to be serious about this. And if that's not something you're interested in, that is seriously not a problem at all. If you're like, I am not in a season of hustle right now, like I cannot do that right now, that is fine with me. Nobody's going to hurt my feelings. But if you are telling me, I really want to make this work and I don't know what's working and I don't know why it's not working, then you need to be in this group, because for 14 days, we're all going to put our heads down and work. We can do this for 14 days. Again, if you're in a season where you can't, that's fine. But I think that most of us can do this. And it really is going to be basically an hour a day. Like, I feel like we work more than that throughout the day. However, the actual activity tracker is an hour a day. It's sitting down and doing 10 to 15 minutes of inviting, 10 to 15 minutes of connecting. It's doing your personal development and checking in with your group and your coaches. So, the goal of the group is that everybody will have added 4 coaches by the end of it, and that everybody will be at Success Club 10. So that is our goal. And if you achieve those 2 things at the end of the group, we are going to be having a second group after that. Yes, it's on Facebook. It's in Live Free. You've probably been tagged. I'm pretty sure you've been tagged in it already. But if not, maybe Rach can point you in the right direction. So yeah, it's going to be every day. It'll be Monday through Friday, I believe. I actually don't know if it's considered like working 5 days a week or working 7 days a week. It's probably working 5 days a week for 14 days, if that makes sense to you. But maybe it's every day for 14 days, just because it's a 14-day group. But regardless, it's really just going to be a good time for us all to rally together and see how much we can get done in 14 days, in 2 weeks. It's going to help your business grow. It's going to help your paycheck grow. It's going to help your group grow, your engagement grow. Like, it's going to be so good for so many things. So I challenge you all to consider joining it, even though it might sound really hard. I think we can do it for 14 days. And I think that if you do it for 14 days, you're going to realize your potential in this business. And that is like my ultimate like heart behind you guys joining this, is that I want you to see what you are capable of when you kind of just put your head down and do the stuff that we tell you to do. Does anybody have any questions about that group or anything we've talked about?
Actually, I tried adding, so I have a girl that wants to be in it, and she kept saying she couldn't, like the link wasn't taking her to the group, and I tried just inviting her and she said she never got it. So I just was looking in Live Free to try to find it, and I don't see it. Like, I can get to it, but I can't see how to point someone else to it.
Everybody needs to join on their own and answer the questions.
But how do they look for the group? Just search the group name? Because that's what I'm having trouble finding. Like, where is it tagged in Live Free?
It's posted for sure in the comments of that live video Julie did.
Okay, comments of the live. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. I am like, I know that so many of you have big goals for the rest of the year, and they might feel really far off. My goals for the rest of the year feel really far off, but I know that they're possible because I believe in you guys, and I believe in what we can do as a team. And I think that it's really easy to get sucked into feeding off of each other's negative energy. And I know that I'm probably part of the problem because I have been in a negative headspace lately as well. And so I really hope that over the next 14 days, we can just kind of like focus on what we can do to move our businesses forward, focus on what we are in control of, and just work really hard, pray even harder for our businesses, but also work really hard. One of my favorite quotes is, pray as if it depends on God, but work as if it depends on you. And so I just hope that for the next 14 days, we can really do that as a team together. Yeah. Okay. Let's take a boomerang. All right. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Cuties. Okay. Love you, ladies. I hope you have a fabulous long weekend. See you next week.